Good morning, this is Randall Hergert, and welcome to the weather briefing by the National Weather Service in Albuquerque on April 24th, 2022. We'll start with a look at the smoke map from our recent fires that include the Cerro Pelado fire in the Jemez Mountains, the Calf Canyon fire just northwest of Las Vegas, and Cooks Peak further north along the east slopes of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. These gray lines indicate where smoke is predicted to be this morning, but the triangles indicate actual air quality monitors that are on the ground measuring the density of the smoke in these areas. And these reds near Las Vegas are indicating unhealthy levels of smoke right now this morning. Thankfully, the smoke from the Cerro Pelado fire has yet to produce any concerns in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, so the smoke concerns right now are just limited to Las Vegas and areas along the east slopes of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains this morning. Switching over to the weather map right now, you can see we do have an air quality alert for smoke across the Jemez Mountains, the Rio Grande Valley, that includes Los Alamos and Santa Fe, up to Espanola, much of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains in New Mexico, including the east slopes from Las Vegas to Mora and Cimarron to Raton, stretching out into the northeastern plains, including Harding and eastern San Miguel counties. Just a reminder, smoke is always a little tricky thing to forecast, so we're going to keep an eye on those air quality monitors through the morning. Looks like the morning hours are going to be the tough part here today. Here's a look at today's forecast high temperatures. Cooler weather is going to hang around across much of New Mexico. It's up 80 degrees down at Roswell today. Looking forward to tonight, we are seeing a backdoor front come into northeastern New Mexico this morning. That's going to expand further through eastern New Mexico tonight into Monday morning. And that's going to meet an upper level disturbance that's crossing the northern mountains. And it's going to produce a few light showers along that part of the state stretching out into the northeastern plains, and some of this is going to be some snow along the east slopes of the Sangre de Cristos, Raton Pass, stretching out to Clayton, with light snow accumulations possible. Odds are the ground temperatures are just going to be still too warm despite the air temperature being at or below freezing, so the snow accumulations aren't expected to be all that much. So snow accumulations aren't expected to be all that much. In fact, this expected snowfall might be a little on the high side, but pretty much expect a dusting to maybe up to an inch or so at Raton Pass by the start of Monday morning. Otherwise, all other areas are going to remain dry. Besides that, the only other features that we're looking at through the next week or so is another round of morning temperatures near below freezing for some areas that might have already started their growing season or started to plant vegetation outside. Just for those that have, just take proper precautions to protect those plants. Tuesday looks like a beautiful spring day with some light breezy conditions. We are expecting a nice influx of moisture behind that backdoor front I mentioned earlier Monday and expanding through western and central New Mexico by Tuesday, so it won't feel as dry. In fact, there might be enough moisture to produce some light virgus showers, which is precipitation that's not expected to hit the ground, so those can also produce gusty and erratic winds too. That's going to be more so the case on Wednesday, where we could see some isolated, maybe scattered afternoon high-base thunderstorms across central New Mexico. Again, these storms, where they form, are not expected to produce much, if any, precipitation reaching the ground. So really from these, just dry lightning and gusty erratic winds are the main concern for these storms Wednesday afternoon. The moisture that does come into the state during this time frame gets pushed out to the east by Thursday as dry westerly winds strengthen, bringing the return of critical fire weather conditions Thursday, and this just becomes even more so the case by Friday as those winds get even stronger and temperatures continue to rise a little bit. And so we're expecting another round of more widespread critical fire weather conditions Friday with some pretty strong winds, although this is not expected to be as extreme as we've seen this past Friday. We can probably expect Friday to be more of your typical dry, warm, breezy, vertical fire type of spring day in New Mexico. With that, thank you for joining us today, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact or email us at the National Weather Service in Albuquerque.